Centuride, centaur. Half horse, half human in appearance, powerful and always on the front line of any conflict in the Fey forest realms. Their magic is in the strength they bear and in the weapons they wield. The bows, swords and daggers forged by their kind are unparalleled in craft or power. Fight, 10. Flight, 0. Magic, 5. Disguise, 0. Chapter 19. The shadows are clustered tight between the trunks of the trees, and they cling to the brittle branches up high, and they crawl through the undergrowth with a sound like the crack of fire. They are shadow imps and shadow cats and shadow wolves stalking between the giants of shadow men. Yanni takes a breath and strides through as if they don't exist, pulling his phalite from his school bag. Zara follows, and tea-cake wins about my ankles. I pick her up and kiss her nose. "Wait here if you like," I say, "and pull me out if I get stuck on the way back." She puts her face into my neck and purrs, deep and tight, sending waves of warmth through me. "Thank you," I say, putting her down. She walks away a few feet, and then turns back and sits watching us, licking a paw, and I follow the others in, trying not to see the eyes that follow, or to hear the wail of their shadow voices. But the further I go, the closer they get, until my feet have lost the path, and my eyes cannot see past the mist of their forms to my friends. The acorn at my throat is uncomfortably warm, and when I put my fingers on it, there's a snap of static that makes me wince. "Zara!" I manage. She was there in an instant. Her warm hands pulls me through, Yanni on the other side. We walk in a chain, Zara in the middle, unseeing, but all too aware of the tension in the air, the warp of the darkness in here. "No wonder they say it's haunted," she whispers. "I've got goosebumps all over." "Just keep walking," says Yanni with an effort. His phalite is starting to pulse erratically, and I hope he knows where he's going, because I certainly don't. We skirt an enormous yew tree, its twisting roots thick upon the broken ground, and then there's a thunderous echo in the air, and a centuride stands before us. She is taller than any man I've ever seen, and her brown hair twists and spirals down her shoulders. Her human torso is painted in the colours of the forest, and her hindquarters are the blue-grey of starless night. "What are you doing?" she hisses, bending down to Yanni, as Zara and I stare. "Going home?" Yanni says in a tight voice. "These are my friends. We're fine." "You have the whole of the realm of shadows about you, and the stag draws near. You are not fine," she bursts, stamping her hooves. "You should be more careful, Yanni. Your family has lost enough already. Go, now, and quickly. I'll divert these creatures." She stares at me, her dark eyes blazing. "I don't know what you are, but you draw the shadows like darkness itself. You are not welcome here. See him alone. Be gone, before you stir the rest of the kingdom to rage." With that, she drags her golden bow and charges into the swath of the shadows, her battle cry sending them spiralling off into the darkness. "That was Rory," says Yanni, watching her go. "I've really made a mess of today. Let's go inside before we cause any more chaos." We follow mutely as he treads down the bank to the hidden entrance of his home. Rory's words keep repeating in my mind. She could see straight away the danger I bring here. Does Yanni see it too? Will his family? Yanni stops at the hatch, looking back at me. "She has a sharp tongue," he says, as if he's reading my mind. "Don't take it personally. She was afraid for us, and fear makes her fierce." He looks between Zara and me. This was my fault. I was the one who got us into trouble. You should head back. Take my phaelite. He thrusts it out, but Zara shakes her head. Yanni, I know it's spineless to make you go back on your own. I just can't do any more right now. What did she mean, Yanni? I ask, knowing I shouldn't, knowing he's already reassured me as much as he can right now. About your family, having already lost too much. Not now, he says, but I didn't mean to put you in any more danger. She said about darkness. I'm sorry. Pfft, says Zara. Take no notice of that. I see no darkness in you. And besides, Yanni's already explained she was just cross. I nod, trying to let her words outplay Rory's, but before we can say goodbye to Yanni, the door swings open behind him and he topples in with a surprised yelp. His father stands bristling on the doorstep. In, he commands, all of you. All the forest is whispering of truant children. I can only imagine it's you, Yanni. He hauls his son up none too gently and starts propelling him down the corridor. The door slams shut behind us and the quartz in the walls flares. Really, this is the last thing we needed. It's enough to get you out to school and back without you bringing more trouble. Zara and I look at each other as we follow Yanni and his father down the corridor. I guess we're in trouble. My chest feels hollow, my legs like rubber. Nothing ever seems to go the way it should. I can hear Nan telling me to be careful what I wish for, and Peg saying going to school was a really dumb idea. Were they right? I didn't mean to bring more trouble here. Look at this place, Stella, Zara whispers. The roots and the lights. And there are tiny little mushrooms growing in the walls and flowers. She grins, clapping her hands together. I knew there were things I didn't know about you. I just knew it. Her eyes dance, but before I can say anything, we're interrupted. Stella, says Yanni's mum, her expression bright and wild and a little alarming as she darts at us from the kitchen. She takes us both by the wrist and draws us into the warmth. Come, we must sort this out. Sit down. Yanni is already sitting at the table and his father is shooing the younger kids to their bedroom. When he turns back from the door, his face is as fierce and fey as hers. The room settles into an amber glow that matches the fire in Yanni's parents' eyes, and Zara and I take seats on the bench by the window, shuffling together. This cannot be, says Elowen. Yanni, you are permitted to go to school and to come home again to us. We do not forbid you friends, but we do forbid you to bring them into danger. And you found danger for yourself when you went out fighting shadows last night without permission. Look at you now. You are lucky Rory was on the prowl. I know, he says, but Ma, nothing, son, she hisses, and her teeth are wolf-sharp, her eyes aflame. We will not have this. You take too much upon your shoulders, and it is not wise. What do you think will become of us, should we lose another one of you? Do you think we would survive that, Yanni? Yanni flinches, but he doesn't say anything. You are not to patrol, then says then. And you are not to fight, Yanni. That is not your task. It is mine and your mother's. You may hate to see what it costs us, but that is what you must bear. We are all doing things we would rather not be doing, seeing things we wish we could unsee. This time will pass. There will be brighter days. You will have a future. That's all we ask for you. I want my future to be here, in the forest, Yanni says. And we hope for that too, Elowen says. Still, you must go to school and you must avoid the shadows. Fen sighs. I'll make us a hot drink. He looks across at Zara and me. And then we'll see about getting your friends home. Stella, and this is Zara if I'm not mistaken, asks Elowen. Zara can do no more than nod. We just wanted to make sure he was safe, I start. I didn't mean to cause trouble. Perhaps you didn't, says Eloan. And I'm glad my boy has friends, truly. Glad that he is at home safe. She gives us a bleak, pointed smile. But if Rory tells you that you draw the shadows, Stella, then she does not lie. You should stay away, for now, and so should Zara. What could the shadows do, though? Zara asks. Won't they just go away? Sadly not, Eloan sighs. I'll leave you to explain the dangers of the shadows, Yanni. Your father and I must get ready for patrol. We will see your friends out on our way. What's going on? Zara asks later, after Fen has brought streaming mugs to the table and left to get ready. Yanni, what is it you've lost? What's going on here? What is so dangerous about the shadows? He wilts a little in his seat. I'm sorry, she whispers. I know I asked too many questions. Dad always says... We lost my sister 2 years ago, he says. That's what we lost. We lost Thorn. Oh, Yanni, I manage, shuffling up to him as Zara does the same on the other side, trying to find words and failing. What happened? Asks Zara after a long silence. She got ill, he says. We thought it was just a cold, but it got worse so quickly and nobody could help. By the time we realised it was shadow sickness, it was too late. Shadow sickness? It spreads, he says. It starts in the trees when they don't get enough light. And from there it spreads to the fae and other creatures. Nothing survives without the trees. Thorn loved playing in the canopy. We weren't supposed to because it's hard to tell when a tree is sick from up there. We only noticed it afterwards, and by then it was too late. Isn't there a cure? No. Sometimes people recover, he says. But when we discovered the tree, it was already dead. He looks out to the kitchen, but his eyes aren't seeing anything there. Dead trees are like poison to fae, especially when they've died because of the shadows, he says. The tree sprites are quick to notice normally, but it was just a young elm, not bonded with any of the sprites. It was already dying when Thorn touched it. He lifts his shoulders. So, now you know. My father's shadows killed his sister. How could he even look at me if he knew what I really was? If he knew that maybe I could have fixed this years ago, if Nan and I had just kept going? Stop that, Yanni snaps at me. What? That look every time I mention shadows. You get all mournful and sorry. Did you bring them here? Did you make them? Did you send them to kill trees and young fae? My throat is tight with a river of tears, but I swallow them. No. So stop it, he sighs, shoving his shoulder against mine. Please.